President Trump floated the idea a few weeks ago.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening. So we'll see what happens. But we are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok.
About a week later, the president signed executive orders banning U.S. transactions with Chinese tech firms Tencent and ByteDance, parent company of TikTok. Let's put this all in perspective with Ashin Kazarian, who is director of civil liberties at Tech Freedom. She, by the way, manages and develops policy projects on free speech, artificial intelligence, and related issues, an internet law and policy fellow, an expert at the Federalist Society's Emerging Technology Working Group, part of the Regulatory Transparency Project, among other things on the resume, the PhD in law at the Law School of the Moscow State University. Joining us now and tweeting at ASHKHEN. Ash Kazarian, welcome. Thanks for being on POTUS today.
Thank you for having me.
Can the president ban transactions with TikTok?
That's as any lawyer would tell you, that's a very multi-answer question. Technically, what the executive order did that he issued is vague enough that I wouldn't say it's unconstitutional yet. Banning technology or a company is a very tricky business, especially because it's going to trigger basically balkanizing the internet.
So the president's action that he takes also is tied in, it seems, with the possibility that Microsoft was going to purchase one or both of these companies, including the fact that the president said that the Treasury needs to get some money out of this. But just talk about that. In other words, how does that affect the president's executive action, or does it at all?
It is that situation is very questionable to me in the sense that it all happened at the same time. There is potential that Microsoft and other tech companies were talking about acquiring TikTok before the president set his sights on TikTok. We don't know enough. TikTok is the highest valued. It's still called a startup. It's the highest valued startup in the world right now. So it would make sense that bigger technology companies in the United States would want to purchase it. Now, the thing I wonder about Microsoft is, as you know, just 2 weeks ago, we had antitrust hearings in the House Judiciary Subcommittee, and Microsoft was not part of them. Why? Because Microsoft has been successful in maintaining and separating their reputation from the techlash phenomenon that's going on. Microsoft went around, according to Politico, who reported this, and met with members of House Judiciary, basically saying we're the good guys and the rest are the bad guys. Just don't forget that. Well, now if they purchase TikTok, which is a social media network, they're going to face a lot of questions that are about content moderation, that are about privacy and the data collection, that are about children's privacy and collection of children's data. And I'm surprised, while also thinking maybe that's a smart business decision, right? I'm a lawyer. I'm not a businesswoman. So I wonder what's going to happen, because if Microsoft purchases TikTok, let's say that happens, they're going to be as involved in all the current tech policy battles as everyone else.
I want maybe help us understand TikTok a little better. It just seems like a harmless, friendly little video service. You know, you can just post these fun videos and your friends and family can all enjoy. What's the problem?
I will say that TikTok has definitely created, for the younger generation, a great way to express their creativity. The problem is threefold. Number one, and then the other two stem from it. The ByteDance, its parent company, is a Chinese company, a big Chinese company, whose CEO has reassured the Chinese Communist Party that they will cooperate. TikTok's terms of service, this is the problem number two, says that they can, if they want to, send the data to China, and that they do comply with Chinese laws. And China technically can request any data they want. So that's on the books. TikTok even put this in writing in a lawsuit. They're being sued in Illinois. The other problem with privacy is that TikTok does collect more data than other tech companies, even though they keep denying it. But even if you just look at the list of things they're collecting, it's not just metadata. It's the model of your phone, your carrier, your search history, your keystrokes. All these things it's a very vast majority of data that they're collecting. Now, TikTok claims they keep Americans' data on servers in Virginia with backups in Singapore. We don't know if they actually do send it to China, but they do have that option. And I never advocated for a ban of TikTok, but I've always, even before this became a hot topic, advocated for Senate Intelligence Committee and other government bodies to do a thorough investigation. U.S. Army and U.S. Navy have already banned TikTok, also like 2 months ago, from the active members having it on their phone. They definitely see a problem with security and the app. And the third one is the content moderation practices that TikTok has. They suppress and basically delete any criticism of China or Chinese Communist Party. They've suppressed content from Hong Kong protesters. They suppress anything, for example, about the re-education camps that exist in China. And that is very problematic. And again, TikTok keeps changing and denying their content moderation practices have anything to do with this. But we even had U.S. moderators who worked at TikTok leave and be basically corporate whistleblowers and say our decisions would get escalated and overturned in Beijing.
Ash Kazarian with us, Director of Civil Liberties at Tech Freedom. We're talking about the TikTok ban, or what the executive order the president had signed. Speaking of which, he had said that in his executive order, WeChat, quote, automatically captures vast swaths of information from its users. This data collection threatens to allow the Chinese Communist Party access to Americans' personal and proprietary information. You touched on that a minute ago, Ash, and I wonder how much of that is a problem in the U.S. I mean, these companies are requiring a lot of that information, are they not?
So the national security threat that WeChat carries, a lot of experts think that it's even higher than TikTok, partially because the way WeChat works is it's not just a messaging app, even though it sounds like it by its name, right? But people who use it, they use it for payments. They use it to, like, everything in your life you can imagine. It's like multiple apps within one. It's all of your digital life in one. So it collects even more information about users, including financial information. A lot of people in the United States use it who want to keep in touch with their family back in China, and a lot of people who, do business in China use it. So the security level and security threat level there is even higher. Experts in the United States have been talking about that. And the difference between that and buying data from data brokers, I think, is different. Even though we should reform in the United States, we don't have federal privacy legislation, and we've asked Congress to pass one for years now, and they obviously just can't get that job done. But the difference still is that with data brokers, what they sell is usually way more narrow and specialized, although I do think that it can be a problem because nothing is stopping them from selling to other countries our data. At the same time, having kind of an app on your phone that has, that maybe backdoor or something like that, some security bug, or collects data and sends it back to China potentially, that's way more dangerous than the data sellers. As of right now, if I had to rank the danger, they would go under that.
All right. We'll continue to watch this story as it develops. Ash Kazarian, thank you for joining us on POTUS today.
Thank you for having me.
Ash Kazarian is Director of Civil Liberties at Tech Freedom. The discussion on the banning of TikTok and the related companies from China, the president's executive order, and what Microsoft should be watching out for. She is tweeting at ASHKHEN. That's her first name. Ashin Kazarian. At Ashken, it looks like. ASHKHEN.